YouTube, you could be anywhere in this world, but you're right here with us. So thank you for joining us. I'm Chris. This is Dave, and we're joined by Sal and Taylor as well. What up, guys?
Yo, man, how's it going?
Up. Awesome. Yeah. So if you guys don't know who these fine gents are, they are some of our students. So we're doing a little bit of a late night session, and we just wanted to get some honest feedback. We know that we've been talking about our ability to trade and how we're training all these students, et cetera, et cetera. But we figured why not actually pull a couple of our students and get their honest feedback, whether it's good or bad, just so you guys see what we're about, what we're teaching, and whether they're getting positive or negative results with what we're teaching them. And hopefully you guys decide to make your own judgment. And if you decide to go under our wing, as we're continuing to take students throughout this year and the years to come, and we hope that you take us into consideration throughout your trading career. But with that said, before we begin, if you guys could do us the favor of hitting that like button, subscribe button, notification bell button if you want to stay up to date with any and all of our most recent content, we really would appreciate that. We would. And if you feel that this information is helping you, feel free to trade it, share it with the trading buddy. If you have a trading buddy, as if it's helping you, odds are it's probably going to help them. Once again, we would greatly appreciate that. And we appreciate all the positive feedback and support and all the love that we've been getting from each and every single one of you. Keep that up. It really means the world to us. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are on our tiny blue planet. Let's get straight into this. We're not going to do any analysis breakdown. As we said, this is just going to be a quick chat with some of our students. They just joined our session randomly, so they were not cherry picked. We're not paying them to say anything good about us or bad. This is just their honest, raw feedback in a live video. And we hope that whoever's watching this appreciates it, because we know, Chris, I can say this with full confidence. Chris and I are probably the only motherfuckers in the industry doing this kind of shit, man. I can say that with full confidence. I've been around the block for many years. I've seen a lot of shit. I've seen a lot of people come and go. And I haven't seen a lot of the stuff that we're doing, because we're doing the stuff that we want to have seen been done. And that's something that Chris and I pride ourselves on. So without further ado, let's go ahead and ask Sal, man. How are you, brother? If you mind just giving yourself a quick introduction in terms of who you are, what you currently do, and why you decided to join us on our trading journey.
Hey, how's it going? I'm um I'm from Cali, man. Currently working at a car wash, going to school at the same time, but I think I'll be leaving that soon. I joined trading, bro, at a young age. I was just intrigued by it. Not I know a lot of people go in for the fast money, but at the end of the day, you gotta love it, man. You gotta enjoy what you do. And I got here into the forex market. I met you at my previous job, and I saw that you started up a YouTube channel. I looked at it, I enjoyed it, and here I am.
Awesome. And what would you say, in like, I know you said that most people are intrigued by trading and by the fast money, the glamour of it, the freedom of it. But what specifically enticed you to become a trader, to make trading your career?
I think, to be honest, bro, it's many things, man. To like the freedom of the possible freedom that there is, also learning a new craft. And at the end of the day, you gotta love the craft that you do. And I enjoy waking up early in the morning, 5 a.m. Here at my type Pacific time, and I enjoy just chopping up the charts. And as I love it. Why not just stick with it?
Awesome, I love that. So mainly the freedom and the
The
ability to
enjoyment of it. The
okay.
enjoyment of it.
I love that, man. I really
I
love
get that.
that.
I get that feeling as well. So when I'm just breaking up charts in the weekends, especially when the market's closed, and I feel like I'm in Zen or some type of peaceful environment. Like I'm so
Exactly,
focused on
man.
just breaking something down that
I
yeah,
have
I
friends that
get.
are out partying in the weekends, man. I'm over here breaking up the charts.
Yeah, or I just have like regular friends who are like we're really good friends, like we're best friends, but like when it comes to someone reading a chart, we just don't have that similarity. Like not everyone really knows what it feels like to break down a chart and enjoy. Only other traders who actually do enjoy it. Like we can talk about it and we know what we're talking about, but there's people in my life that don't even know what the hell the financial markets are. It's just like a blur for them, you know?
Yeah, man. Agree with that. So awesome stuff. And how long would you say you have been a trader or you've been learning to trade?
I started. I remember it was like 2019, man. It was April 2019. So it
Okay.
wasn't. It was recently, man. It was actually very recently. I remember I got into it. I started reading my books, and that's when I remember opening up my account and just really just looking at what the. I started off in the stock market first, and then I came across you, and then I hopped over to the forex market. So that's been very little time, bro. But so far, I love the journey.
Awesome, awesome. And based off your experience in the stock market transitioning into the forex market, what would you say are maybe some differences, or what specifically do you like about the forex market that you didn't get in the stock market?
Well, in the stock market, man, the what I was learned was just simple levels, and I feel like when I came over here to learning about the what you have to offer, like it really I enjoyed how it's manipulated, but once you understand like where once you understand the order flow analysis, it's just like you knowing which traders there are and the breakout traders or retracement traders and supporting and just a different type of traders. It's really enticing to me.
Yeah,
Got
you find the edge. That's what it is. You just find an
Exactly,
edge.
man.
Yeah.
Looking at that edge and just taking advantage of it.
Yeah.
and if I may add to that, you feel like there's more to do in the forex market just because it's a 24-hour market. You feel you're more involved, and that you can really focus on. You understand it a lot more. Like what the principles that we teach really apply to any market, but you feel that they're more applicable in the foreign exchange market. Am I hearing that correctly?
Yeah, exactly, man.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. And I guess last question, last but not least, is what has been your experience with this, man? Be completely honest for our viewers. Like from the moment that you started learning to trade, I know you weren't with us specifically, but when you came into our Discord and from what you've been learning from us, how has your perception of trading improved? How has your performance improved? And what if you could offer any insight on that, what would it be?
So one thing, bro, that I've learned through my journey with no like 2 months of journey here is that it's a difficult the forex market is difficult, man. You have to understand what's happening, and it's very diverse, and you have to act how you always say you have to act dynamically, man. And
Yeah.
just and what you guys show here is really when I open up a chart, man, I just feel so confident just putting in my key levels, my zones, the trend line. And then my favorite part, which is the order flow analysis, knowing where I think that's one thing, bro, that stuck with me, the learning where the liquidity is at and
God.
understanding that. That's something that just opened up my eyes and understanding that the market it seeks liquidity. And once you understand that, it's just you know where you have a sense of where the market's gonna go. And that's something I not once did I hear in my past
Oh, I love that. You
experience.
never hear that shit, bro.
Bro,
It's
it's
because
crazy, man.
people don't understand the sophistication of the market. They just take it at its most basic principles. But I'm so glad you brought that up. I really am, man, because I'm telling you, I've been around the block for a while. Maybe 8 years isn't a lot. Maybe those are some rookie numbers. But in those 8 years, I've learned a tremendous amount, bro. And for me to be a full-time trader within that time frame, that's a big accomplishment. And what I will say is this: I have learned so many things, and there are just some things that are rarely talked about in the industry because like what gets talked about the most in this industry is somebody's always just trying to hawk this secret strategy to you. Disclaimer: there is no fucking secret strategy. There is no magic formula. No little pattern that's going to make you millions overnight. People don't understand the function of the markets. They don't understand it at its truest essence. And as you said, the markets are really here to facilitate transactions in the form of buying and selling, seek out liquidity, and manipulate people, really, because the way these big operators operate is they have to manipulate the markets. It's not necessary. They don't do it because they're being evil. It's just a necessary function of the markets. And sadly, a lot of people get hurt in that process if they really don't know what they're doing and they don't understand that edge. So I'm so glad you brought that up. But would you say your performance has improved a lot in the time frame that you've been with us?
Yeah, bro. I think I'm more confident when entering a trade. The fact that I know what I'm doing. that's something that I really like.
So you would say that our methodology has helped you understand what to look for, like what you're doing.
Exactly, man. So when I open up a chart, I just and I deploy my levels, my zones, and the order flow analysis. I'm like so confident with what I'm doing.
Awesome, man. Well, I really appreciate all that feedback. Thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. Actually, last fucking question. I
What's
know
up,
you
man?
maybe haven't been in the game for very long, but if there's one lesson that maybe you've learned individually that's probably unique to you, if there's any positive lesson or negative that you could pass on to the next trader, a novice trader fresh out of the game, what would that be, man? Like, what's one lesson that you would advise somebody to be aware of?
I'd be, man. I'd say for me personally, to be optimism, man. Waking up every day and just being excited for the markets, because it's gonna be difficult, man. Because you take a loss and you feel like shit, but you just have to have that optimism to wake up the next day and just continue at it.
True that.
I fucking love that, man. I
Great
love that.
answer. So
There you have it. There you have it. Peeps, gents and gals, chaps and gals. That was one of our very own, Sal. Once again, brother, thank you so much for sharing those insights with us. We greatly appreciate that. And we hope to do another recap on where you are in the next couple months. And we hope that you continue to see massive improvements. And we wish you nothing but continued success moving forward in your trading career. And I have nothing but immense hope and confidence that you will achieve and attain whatever goals you have out for yourself in trading. So there you have it. That was Sal's perspective on everything. We're going to move on to Scott, Taylor Scott, man. This guy's a brilliant scalper, and I feel like you guys will have a lot to learn from him as well. So Scott, my man, how are you? How you been? Give us a little bit of backstory of who you are, how you got introduced to trading, and why the fuck trading.
Well, thanks, man. I'm just happy to be here.
We're happy to have
I
you.
am a new father. I do construction work for a living, electrical, and I just got into trading because I felt really unfulfilled with my work. And, just the people I was around, they didn't really share the same vision. You know what I mean? It's like they were just content with where they were at. And, I talk about goals and like, well, what else are you going to do that you can double your career or double your salary in 4 years? Like they just act like electrical was the way to go. You know what I mean? But it just hasn't been for me. So that's kind of what set me down this journey. It really put me down like a path of self-discovery and brought out a lot of my bad habits and gambling tendencies and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I've gone through my baptism by fire, like you have said in the past.
Yeah.
I've made some money. I've lost some money. I started off flipping accounts like right away. I've only been trading about 2.5 years, but right when I got into it, I just put like $200 into my first account and flipped it into like $5,000 in 2 months. So I was like, oh shit, this is easy. I'm going to quit my job by the end of this year. And that did not happen. So I'm just trying to, I've been trying to readjust my mindset and, not look at it that way and really just focus on being patient and building, those foundational principles, just doing it right. So, yeah. And so I found you guys on one of Mark's videos, just scrolling through YouTube, and added Cris on Instagram, and he just immediately reached out. He's like, hey man, I see you trade. If you ever need anything, just, hit me up. And so that's really what drawed me to this group. It's like, you don't find that shit just anywhere. I paid like $300 a month for some just cookie cutter course. And, they ask you, or you ask the mentor question. They they treat you like you're wasting their time. They're like, and it's a real family in here. So
yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys. I've really gotten a lot of value out of this group. I've been able to pass an FTMO challenge account.
Hell
just
yeah!
to work on getting funded. So.
On that. We've been watching you come up on that, man, and you finally did it. We're proud of you.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick with the creed all the way. I can't recommend it anymore. It's just I haven't found anything better. I really resonate with everything that you teach. So I appreciate what you guys do.
Appreciate you, T Scott.
That means a lot. Well, you answered my second question was how long have you been trading? But with that said, man, what exactly enticed you or intrigued you to want to become a trader? Because I know money is one of them. It's mainly the motivation for all of us. But out of so many things that we could do for money, like what exactly enticed you about trading?
I just like that there's no cap on your income. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
you can take this as far as you want to take it. The markets will make or break you. And like, I love that. It's a whole rabbit hole. Like there's always something to learn. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like that. I love the potential. It
Yeah.
excites me, you know?
Hell yeah. So
I say that so much times too, T Scott, when people like want to know what it is to trade, I always tell them it's a rabbit hole because the rabbit hole goes deep into so many areas. It's not just trading. It's just like it goes into you, your personality, your bad habits, and then like you start like the first thing you said when they asked you the first question, Tiska, you said vision. Literally, when I started trading, I grew a vision of life, literally, and everything I went towards became a trade. Every day was a trade. A new job was a trade. Like any bad situation was a trade, and literally trading literally put me in a rabbit hole.
it becomes your identity almost. It really
It really
consumes
does.
you, yeah, to the point where it just it's a piece of you. And I don't think that's such a bad thing, man, because when something becomes your art, your craft, your passion, it shouldn't be any other way.
And the crazy
So
part is that I thought I was alone till I met Dave, and then just like we just continue to grow. I'm like, wow, this is a skill because people have the same passion that I have. Like we're nerds about this shit. Like you know what I mean? That's it.
we're financial nerds, man. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that, bro. Hey, truth be told, nerds are gonna take over the world one day.
True that.
With that said, thank you so much for sharing that, Scott. Let me ask you this, man. What are your objectives long term with trading aside from the money? Like if you really had to put a number on it, what would be your ideal amount of income to make from trading? If you don't mind sharing that with us.
Um, as far as right now, I'm just working on getting my like 3 month emergency fund just and taking it from there. So like one step at a time, you know, because I got a problem with getting overwhelmed. So like, you know, I'm just working on being patient with it. So if I take it one step at a time, it's just easier for me to manage. But that's it. I just want to be able to support myself and my family and have the freedom to be there for my son when he needs me there. And just I want to make sure everybody in my family's straight, you know, because they've just been there for me. So it's not like I want to be out here making millions, but I want to have like a home with a ranch, you know, some cows, and just live the good life, but still be able to, you know what I mean? I just can't
Fund
see
your life,
myself
your
getting there,
lifestyle.
yeah, with any other way.
Yeah.
This is just
I got the same feeling too from trading, T Scott. Like the moment I picked up trading, it felt like I had a sense of security because I know if shit went, if I couldn't find a job, I couldn't fucking do anything, I had trading, and just knowing that that freedom is available in your hands and the type of money you can make, the skill becomes just like irreplaceable. Like there's nothing like it, nothing like it.
It's not, bro. It's the most unique skill you could learn. It's a recession proof skill because no matter what the fuck is going on with the world, the markets are always going to be here. The more crazier shit gets, as we've seen with this whole COVID thing, the markets get more volatile. Volatility equals opportunity, given that you know what the fuck you're doing. So the skill is just amazing, man. And it's rough at first, but anything worth doing is going to be tough, man. It's going to take a lot of time. But yeah, with that said, man, in the time frame you said you've been trading 2 years, in the time frame that you joined our Discord, which I know was pretty early in the year since this whole fucking COVID thing hit. It's been a couple months that you've been with us. How would you say your performance has improved since you've been around the block for a little bit? You've learned a lot of things. How would you say your performance has improved since the time frame that you've been with us, and what would you say you've learned that has helped your performance tremendously?
honestly, I feel like I'm coming a far way. Like trading such a personal journey that you could give us like perfect cookie cutter strategy and we'd find some way to fuck it up. So
Yeah.
it's just the more you develop as a person, the more the money just comes. So that's it. I've gotten a lot of value out of this group. I've come a long way, and it's not so much the strategies that you teach, which they play out. Like you order flow, it's on point. Like I'm just slowly learning to speak the language of the market. Like there's not just one strategy, you know what I mean? You have to be in tune with
Yeah.
everything that's going on. So, and I'm really starting to figure that out, and I'm getting a lot more patient with it. I'm not gambling like I did at work, just running up into the bathroom real quick to take some scalps. Like I'm growing out of that, dude. And it's from like the support of this group. That's really where I get the most value out of it, is just, you know, everything you guys do. I can tell that you're really passionate about this, and it's fucking real to everybody here. So
Hell yeah, man.
yeah.
So I'm gonna fucking die doing this shit. But I want to go ahead and reiterate. I want to go ahead and touch on that point that you just brought up, because I think that was so fucking brilliant. You said speaking the language of the markets, and that there is really no one set in stone strategy that makes you money consistently here. And I think that's so important because, yes, though we specialize in maybe 1 to 2 things, which is order flow analysis and really pretty much all the manipulative tactics that these big institutions deploy into the markets, but you notice that when you're able to speak the language of the markets, you can maneuver your way in so many variations. It's not just like one set in stone kind of way of trading. There are things where, we have our gap failure setups. They're rare, but they're there, and we trade them when they're there. And we make money from them. And then we have like mean reversion, counter trend trading strategies as well. But we mainly specialize. Our forte is in manipulation. So we understand the functions of these big operators, a lot of the variations of manipulations, the order flow that goes on, and how they deploy their orders in a very covert and strategic manner. But really, what would you say is the most important thing about understanding the language of the markets, man? I know that might be a very difficult question to answer, but what would you say for you personally is the most important thing about learning to speak the language of the markets, that it's not just about this black and white approach to trading the financial markets?
Honestly, it's just self-awareness and really documenting the process. So it's taken me a while to really start to journal my trades, and even like really write in a journal, which is something I'm working on right now. And that's really starting to like make me progress a lot faster, is because how are you going to know what you do wrong if you don't have the data to track it?
Yeah.
So like that's what has really started to help me. It's difficult to do, but there's a lot of resources that like there's this Trello journal that you can get online to like just copy and paste your trades, and so that really helps. It's like, yeah, like I was saying, how are you going to know what you're doing right and wrong if you aren't tracking the whole process?
That's exactly right. So many traders, they want to make the big bucks, but they're the same guys beating their head against the brick wall, expecting a different result, and they wonder why they can't get it, because they don't really know what the fuck they're looking at or doing, and let alone they have no frame of reference to improve upon. So I'm glad that you brought that up. And I know journaling and being disciplined in that manner, it's fucking boring. It's hard, bro. It took me a while. Trust me. It took me a while with my own personal finances, with my own emotions, with my own trading career, to just really be disciplined in analyzing and tracking and recording data. But once you get into the habit of it, it's just second nature. You don't think about it. And I will be honest, over the years, I've become so I was disciplined at first. And I think once you really start to get your groove of what you're doing, you fall off again, because it's like, you kind of have a gist of what the fuck you're doing, bro. You know what you're doing wrong. At that point, as you said, it's more of a self-awareness type of process. So I don't expect people to be disciplined like that forever. But, in the beginning, I think that's so crucial. I think that's very important, because how the fuck are you going to know how are you going to know what you're doing wrong or right, and how to improve upon those things? You're not going to know that until you're recording that type of data. So yeah, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that's very important, man. Getting in the habit of journaling, whatever it is that you feel, the trades that you're taking, the data, the things that you observe, and figuring out plans to improve upon those things, because it really is a self-awareness journey. If it, like, trading anything is more mental than it is mechanical. Like the mechanics, that we can teach anybody this shit like nobody's business. The mechanics, the execution part is the easiest, but it's really the mental shit that you can't really teach anybody. We can talk about this stuff day and night, but only it's gonna, everybody's experience is unique, and it's stuff that you're gonna either, as you said earlier, the markets are gonna make or break you, man. There's no other way around that. They're gonna make or break you.
It's all about that solid foundation.
That's it, man.
You'll
Solid
crack on the
foundation.
weakest link.
Yes, yeah, bro. The markets will reveal exactly who you are, and you may not like what you see in the very beginning, but if you're willing to grit through that, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to succeed moving forward. But that's awesome stuff, man. That's awesome stuff. I appreciate the things that you've shared. Last question, pretty much the same question that I asked Sal. If there's any form of insight that you could offer any new trader coming into the game, coming into the business, maybe things that you've learned through your own personal experience, good or bad, what's something that you want a brand new trader, like if you were coaching somebody under your wing, what would you tell them? Like what would be a lesson that you would pass down to them?
Man, I know it's something nobody really wants to hear, but just be patient and take your time. The market is always going to be here. Like, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So just do it right, and you won't be taking a few steps forward and even more back. So just one solid step at a time, and just don't rush the process. Like, you got to love the shit. That's pretty much it.
You were saying, man, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, you just got to really enjoy what you're doing. Like, love the process. Because it's the boring stuff that's going to make you all the money, you know?
Hell yeah. And that's awesome that you mentioned that, because people think that trading is this glamorous thing that you're engaging in. And don't get me wrong, it's a pretty cool thing that we're doing. I'm not going to knock that. It's a pretty badass thing that we're doing here. You know, I mean, when I go out to bars and get shit faced out of my mind, when people ask me what I do, you know, and I tell them, oh yeah, you know, I manage my business as a professional trader and portfolio manager. They're like in awe, like, oh, what the fuck is that? It's cool. We're very blessed in terms of what we do, but at the same time, it's not this glamorous thing that it's made out to be, that it's portrayed to be. And as you said, you kind of just got to grit the boring stuff out. This is nothing about trading is particularly glamorous. It's a job like anything else. But it's a really cool job that has no, as Scott mentioned earlier, a cap on your income. I truly believe that the markets will always reward you for your level of skill. The more skilled, experienced, and specialized you are, the more money you will make as a result of that. There's no way in hell that you can't, man. And once you have the consistency down, it's all about scale. And eventually that scalability is what makes trading unique, because I don't know very many other things that could allow you to scale to that extent in such a very short space of time. Sure, you could become an entrepreneur, but entrepreneurism has it's far more risky to the extent where you're taking on extreme risk, man. I'm talking like if you open up a brick and mortar shop, or you're putting your name out there, or you're taking off massive debt or leverage, you could fuck yourself really bad. Trading, yes, people fuck themselves just as bad, but it's not as risky as people portrayed out to be. The only risk is your ignorance. That's really it, man. The only risk is your lack of managing your money, your resources, not knowing what you're doing, and your inability to constantly adapt to the financial markets. And over time, you'll come to see that this is just an art form, man. It's just as much an art as it is a science. It's not a perfect art and a science, but it is a science and an art form nonetheless. And it's a very dynamic kind of industry. I like to compare the financial markets to that of warfare. It's not akin to the extent where, you know, where it's like a life or death situation where you got to kill to live, or, you know, you're killing or dying, whatever. But what I mean that it's very akin to warfare to the extent where, as a soldier, for example, let's say you go to boot camp or whatever, you're trained on the skill sets that you need to engage in actual live warfare. You know, you're taught how to shoot, duck, and roll, how to combat skills and all that stuff, the works. The thing is, however, you're given the foundations, but when you're put out in war, every situation is fucking different. And how you use the skill sets that you were taught is going to be the difference between life or death. It's no different in trading. Cutting out the fact that you don't live or die, you know, the only risk is that you lose money or you make it. But we can teach you the skills. The question is the thing is how you apply them is going to be the difference between you making money or not. This is a very dynamic domain. And people, they just don't seem to understand that. And that's what drives them insane. But anyways, that's a conversation for another day. There you have it, folks. Scott, thank you so much for sharing that. We really appreciate your time, as well as you, Sal. Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts for taking time out of your day to have a chit chat with us and, offering insights to a lot of our viewers on our YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure that means the world to them as much as it means to us, because people need to hear this raw feedback. They need to hear what it's like for traders to be in the making, for people to be in the middle of learning a craft and to see where they're at and what's really possible. We're just everyday Joes. I've already mentioned countless times to you guys, we're very intimate in our group to the extent where we just know a lot about each other. I didn't come from any particular special backgrounds. I'm sure many of us didn't, but we're just average Joes that are just trying to become extraordinary in this business. And it doesn't take a lot to do that. But thank you so much for sharing that. There you have it, peeps. We hope that you enjoyed this video, this little conversation that we've had. Before we call it a wrap, just do us that favor of hitting that like button, subscribe button, notification bell button. We really would appreciate that, man. We really would. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, and we want this information to reach many others who are probably struggling, because it disgusts me to this day that 90% of traders still can't make it, man. It's fucked up, because there's so much information out there, but if percent of traders are still losing money, it just goes to show the quality of that information. So we're hoping that we can make a massive difference in this industry. Chris and I, we're the type of guys, whether you're either going to love us or you're going to hate us, but at the end of the day, we're going to make money with or without you. So whether you hate us or love us, we don't give a fuck, bro, because we're going to do our part to make sure that we're living to our purpose and helping others to the best of our ability. And you heard it from, Sal and Scott themselves. They've been getting positive results, and they're just on their path moving forward. This is a stuff where it's a process of time, and you have to be patient to that extent. Everybody's journey is going to be different. Some of you are going to pick it up a lot faster. Some of you are going to take a little bit longer, but who gives a fuck? It's your journey. You'll get there when you get there. And before we call it a wrap, I want to close it with this amazing quote that I read from Ralph Waldo Emerson, man. It's, I can't remember exactly what book. I think it has something to do with poems or whatever. But Ralph Waldo Emerson put it beautifully when he said, "Nothing in nature is ever too late or too early. It's always just on time."